Welcome back to our channel, everyone. Today is a beautiful, bright day, and I am just so thrilled to sit down and chat with all of you again. Grab a warm cup of coffee or your favorite tea, get comfortable in your favorite chair, and let us dive right into the latest drama unfolding in Port Charles. We have so much to talk about today, and my goodness, it is quite an emotional journey. I have to be completely honest with you all. I have been sitting here just shaking my head in absolute disbelief over what is happening with Willow Kane. If you had told me a few years ago that this sweet, caring, gentle young woman would end up in the situation she is in right now, I would have told you that you were watching a completely different television show. It truly breaks my heart into a million pieces to see how far she has fallen. We are watching a slow-motion tragedy unfold right before our very eyes, and the drug crisis that has taken hold of her life is no longer just a personal struggle. It has become a massive, destructive storm that is threatening to tear apart the lives of everyone around her, most importantly, her precious children. When I think about little Wiley and Amelia, I just feel this deep, heavy ache in my chest. Children are so innocent, so vulnerable, and they look to their mothers for safety, comfort, and unconditional love. But right now, Willow is in no condition to provide any of those things. Her addiction has completely clouded her judgment, and the terrifying reality is that her drug use is putting those sweet babies in direct, undeniable danger. As a viewer, and just as someone who cares about the well-being of children, watching these scenes has been incredibly difficult. You just want to reach through the television screen, scoop those kids up, and carry them far away from the chaos that their mother is creating. The anxiety I felt watching this storyline build up was just overwhelming. We all knew that something terrible was going to happen. You simply cannot mix severe drug impairment with the responsibilities of motherhood without a disaster waiting just around the corner. And then the nightmare finally happened. The accident. Oh my goodness, I could barely breathe when I realized what was unfolding. To see Wiley and Amelia involved in a terrifying accident, all because their mother was not in her right mind, was one of the most gut-wrenching things I have witnessed on this show in a long time. It is every parent's absolute worst fear brought to life. The aftermath of that accident is where the story truly took a turn that left me wiping tears from my eyes. Physical injuries heal, thank heavens, but the emotional scars left on those children are going to last a lifetime. Wiley and Amelia were traumatized, completely shaken to their core by what happened. And the most heartbreaking part of it all? They are pulling away from Willow. These two precious children, who should be running into their mother's arms for comfort after such a scary event, are instead turning their backs on her. They are leaving her behind, emotionally and physically rejecting the woman who gave them life because they no longer feel safe with her. Can you even imagine the pain of that? But at the same time, can you blame them? They are just trying to protect themselves. This brings us to Michael Corinthos, and let me tell you, my heart goes out to that man right now. As a father, getting that phone call about your children being in an accident is the kind of terror that stops your heart from beating. When Michael realized that Willow's drug use was the direct cause of his children's trauma, you could just see the shift in his eyes. The protective father instincts kicked into absolute overdrive. I have always said that Michael has that fierce Corinthos loyalty and protectiveness running through his veins, and we are seeing it come out in full force now. He is realizing with crushing clarity that he can no longer play nice. He cannot afford to be gentle or understanding with Willow anymore, because every moment he hesitates is a moment his children are at risk. Because of this terrifying wake-up call, the custody battle between Michael and Willow is about to escalate into something completely unrecognizable. This is no longer a simple disagreement between two parents who have different ideas about raising their kids. This is a desperate do-or-die mission for Michael to save Wiley and Amelia from a mother who is spiraling out of control. He is going to be forced to make some incredibly tough, rigid, and perhaps even ruthless decisions to build an impenetrable wall around his children. Watching Michael transition from a concerned co-parent to a fierce warrior fighting for his kids' safety is both inspiring and deeply sad because it never should have come to this. But of course, a battle this intense does not just stay confined to the courtroom. It bleeds into every corner of a person's life, and that brings me to Justinda Bracken. I have to say, I really feel for Justinda in all of this. She stepped into a relationship with Michael, hoping for a bright, loving future, but instead, she has found herself standing in the middle of a war zone. The sheer volume of drama, stress, and heartache surrounding Willow is completely consuming Michael's attention. Every conversation they have, every moment they try to share, is overshadowed by the looming threat of what Willow might do next. It is exhausting just to watch, so I can only imagine how draining it must be for Justinda to live it. A relationship needs sunlight and fresh air to grow, but right now, Michael and Justinda are suffocating under the heavy, dark cloud of Willow's crisis. Justinda is trying to be supportive, bless her heart, but everyone has a breaking point. The risk of their romance completely falling apart is so high right now. You can see the weariness in her eyes, the silent wonder of whether this endless cycle of Corinthos and Cain family drama is truly what she signed up for. If Michael cannot find a way to balance his fight for his children with his commitment to Justinda, I am very afraid we might see them go their separate ways, which would be just another tragic casualty of Willow's addiction. As if all of this emotional turmoil was not enough, the story is gearing up to deliver a massive, earth-shattering shock to Willow's world. We are talking about the ultimate consequence. Willow is going to be arrested for her drug use. Just picture it. The flashing red and blue lights, the cold metal of the handcuffs, the utter public humiliation of being taken away by the police. For a woman who once prided herself on being a pillar of goodness and morality, this is the absolute bottom of the barrel. When the law finally steps in, there is no more hiding, no more making excuses, and no more pretending that everything is just fine. This arrest is the final, undeniable nail in the coffin for her custody rights. The courts are going to look at a mother who not only endangered her children in a traumatic accident, but who also has criminal charges related to illegal substances. Her rights to raise Wiley and Amelia are going to be completely destroyed, wiped away by the judge's gavel. And honestly, as hard as it is to say, it is the right decision for the safety of those kids. But watching a mother be legally stripped of her children is a heavy, solemn thing to witness. It is the end of a chapter, the tragic conclusion to a family that once had so much promise. Now, you would think that hitting rock bottom like this, losing her children's love, losing her legal rights, and facing criminal charges would be the wake-up call Willow needs. You would hope that she would fall to her knees, admit she needs serious help, and start the long, painful journey toward recovery and redemption. But that is not what is happening, and this is where the story gets truly frightening. Instead of finding humility and sorrow in her losses, Willow is finding something much darker. The realization that she has lost her motherhood rights is acting like a spark in a room full of gasoline. The grief and shame are twisting into something ugly and dangerous. Willow is becoming consumed by a deep, explosive hatred. She is blaming everyone else, Michael, the courts, maybe even Justinda, for the ruin of her life, completely unable to accept that her own choices brought her to this dark place. We are watching the birth of a very bitter, vengeful woman. The actions she is preparing to take, fueled by this explosive anger, are going to bring a whole new level of trouble to Port Charles. A mother who feels she has been unjustly robbed of her children, who has nothing left to lose and a heart full of venom, is perhaps the most dangerous kind of person to have walking the streets. The sweet Willow we knew is gone, replaced by someone who is willing to burn the world down because her own world has turned to ashes. I am sitting on the edge of my seat, filled with dread and anticipation, waiting to see just how far she will go in this new, hateful vendetta. It is a brilliant, if heartbreaking, turn for the storyline, and it proves that the writers are not holding anything back. This entire saga has been an absolute masterclass in emotional storytelling. It touches on themes that resonate so deeply with all of us: the fierce love of a parent, the devastating grip of addiction, the fragility of new relationships, and the dark places the human mind can go when it feels cornered. I find myself thinking about these characters long after the episode ends, worrying over Wiley and Amelia, cheering for Michael's strength, sympathizing with Justinda's exhaustion, and mourning the loss of the woman Willow used to be. It is stories like this that remind me why I have loved watching this show for so many years. It pulls you in, makes you feel every high and low, and connects you to these people as if they were your own neighbors. I cannot wait to see how Michael navigates this new, dangerous version of Willow, and whether his relationship with Justinda can weather the storm. And most of all, I am praying for those sweet children to find peace and stability after such a traumatic ordeal. Thank you all so much for letting me share my heart with you today. I would love to hear how you are all feeling about this heavy storyline, so please keep the conversation going. Until next time, take care of yourselves and hold your loved ones close.